All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. So we're going to talk about 273 again really quick. I want to talk about what the biggest robbery was there, because there's a lot of talk about people being robbed, robbery in this fight. Big time robbery. Peter Yan got robbed. I've even heard, Gilbert Burns got robbed. So I'm going to discuss those things because I actually do agree that someone got robbed, and I don't agree with who it was. So we're going to talk about that. Now, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. I'm serious though, do that. If you watch my stuff all the time and you haven't subscribed, I would appreciate it if you did. That's how I know that I'm doing good work. And believe me, if I wasn't dedicated to this channel, there is a 0% chance that I would be doing videos right now. My brain is fried, dude. Okay? I'm not built for 4 nights of partying anymore. I'm not built for it, and yet I did it anyway. And that, still making videos because that's what I do. Anyway, so here's the deal. So Aljamain, let's actually start here. I think that the number one robbery of the night was definitely Korean Zombie. If you look at that fight stoppage, when they start, he was winning that fight. He's winning the fight. Herb Dean jumps in between them when Zombie takes 2 shots. He was winning the fight. I'm just kidding, obviously. Just kidding. I thought that was a really good stoppage, actually. People kept asking me at the show. They're like, dude, you like that stoppage? I was like, bro, I don't like that he came out for that round, dude. He wasn't even sitting on his stool, dude. I don't know if you guys saw that on TV. He was laying in the corner. He was sitting down on the ground. He was so fucked up. But anyway, so here's who I think did get robbed. I think that Aljamain Sterling got robbed. I think he got robbed of the respect he should have gotten for winning that fight. And the reason for that is because so first of all, let me just rewind here. So for me to be able to say that, I have to believe that Aljamain won the fight, right? So this isn't even a complicated argument, right? Aljamain obviously won the second and third round, obviously, right? Peter Yan obviously won the fourth and fifth. So it comes down to the first round, okay? Now, I thought Peter Yan won the first round when I was watching it live, but I talked about this in my live stream. You can't tell live very well. Anthony Smith said that he thought that Aljamain won it, watching it on television, and then I watched the Weasel's breakdown. The Weasel went through every single strike. And to me, it seemed relatively simple. Aljamain outlanded Peter Yan in the first round. So Aljamain won the fight, right? He outlanded, and it wasn't by a small margin. He outlanded him pretty significantly. It was five strikes or something like that. He landed more than Peter Yan. Now, none of them were super heavy strikes, but it's a tough round to call. If one guy landed 5 more strikes than the other guy, then I guess you got to give him the round. Now, do I think Aljamain's a better fighter than Peter Yan? Not necessarily. Or no. No, I don't. I think if it goes 6 rounds, obviously Peter Yan wins, which is a hard stat to get around given the circumstance. I think Peter Yan showed tremendous kind of fortitude in his because having a guy on your back like that for that long, almost 10 minutes just on your back, and you're just defending your neck. Have you guys ever heard, not have you ever heard, but when they always say hey, every round start standing up, and it's usually total bullshit. It's a total bullshit take. You're okay, because usually you're talking about Conor versus Khabib or something, it's every round starts standing up, and it's okay, well, if he was able to get him down every time, then it probably isn't going to matter very much. That particular quote fits perfectly on Peter Yan versus Aljamain. That's the actual application of that quote. It's well, if you can't submit him, he's going to have to stand back up because Jan's not going to get tired. He's not going to get tired. You might, but he won't. And, but yeah, bottom line is this. If you can make an argument that Aljamain won, and I think that you can make a fair argument that he won, then Dana White coming out and saying that he lost, that's a big robbery, dude. Dude, the guy's he had to have neck surgery. He's been out forever. He comes back and he beats a guy who everyone thinks was going to beat him the first time. He deserves respect for that. But in my opinion, I don't know. Look, I put a lot of stake in what Dana says personally. And I know Dana says whatever he wants. So he might have just been watching it live and he thinks he won. So, I don't know. He's not a guy who holds back his opinions, obviously. And so if his opinion is that Aljo lost, then he says it. I just think I'm not even saying that he shouldn't say it. I'm just saying if I'm Aljamain and I came out and I won that fight, given the circumstances, it would hurt bad if the boss said that to me. That would hurt. I would feel robbed of some part of, I don't know, the glory that I should be able to kind of bask in for a little while. I actually really won the title now, because he didn't win the title last time. It was disqualification. Now he actually won the title. And in that moment, the boss is like, you didn't really win. You didn't really win, dude. I don't know. That hurts, dude. Like, that's got to hurt. It doesn't really matter as it relates to his pocketbook. The reason the belt really matters is because you get back in on the pay-per-view and you make significantly more money. I would imagine in Aljo's case, it's a lot more money, So good for him. But if someone asked me, what do you think was the biggest robbery? I would say probably that. I think it would probably be the robbery of being able to really feel like a fully embraced, like, I don't know, like acceptance that he's the new champion or something, But yeah, now on the Gilbert Burns side, Gilbert Burns versus Khamzat, that fight was so close, dude. It was just razor thin. And you take the circumstances. You take the circumstance of that fight with how, like, Khamzat is Conor McGregor on the come up, Like, he's one of these guys, like, and he's an instant superstar. And he is that, dude. He is that. Like I said, I saw him at the airport. He got approached by everyone. Everyone knows who he is. Everyone knows who he is. And he hasn't really hit critical mass yet with the regular folks. So now, given we were at the Jacksonville airport the day after the fight, so there's probably a lot of people in town like us who were flying out after the fights, but there were a lot of people that knew Khamzat, man. So here's the deal, though. If Gilbert Burns doesn't eat a single jab, right? That jab at the end of the first round, he wins that fight. He got knocked down at the end of the first round, and that gave Khamzat the fight. The fight game is literally, you're talking about a game of millimeters, man. If he sees that coming, if he's here and that hits here instead of right here and splits through and hits his jaw instead of, hits his, it's just like, or if it even just catches his block just a little bit more to where he eats the shot but doesn't fully eat it and he doesn't go down, he wins that fight. It's just crazy, man. Like, it's such a crazy game. Now, if Gilbert would have won, he would have fought Colby. That would have been a bananas fight. Now, Khamzat versus Colby, that's a whole different story. I'm going to do a whole other video on that. But the bottom line is, like, oh my gosh, you know what I just realized? You know what the real story of that fight is going to be? Is the buildup, dude. Can Colby get to the octagon without Khamzat killing him? Seriously. Whoa, I almost want to sign off. You know what? I'm going to. Okay, I've said what I said. The biggest robbery of the night, Aljamain's glory from winning the championship finally. Now, let's talk about the likelihood that Colby makes it to the event without Khamzat beating him or shooting him or something in the press conferences leading up to the fight. Anyway, love you guys. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Peace.